In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week. And now it's time for...
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's random.
Is that a fact?
Is that a fact?
4 random facts.
Remember Sour Patch Kids?
Love Sour Patch. Remember?
Maybe you still have them now.
I love them.
Yeah.
I'd still eat some if you gave them to me.
I'll get in touch with my kids. They have them quite a bit. They are from the same manufacturer as Swedish Fish. Mm-hmm. You ever have Swedish Fish?
Oh, I love Swedish Fish, too.
The Red Sour Patch Kids are the same candy as Swedish Fish.
Just a different shape?
Different sugar, sour sugar. That's the only thing that's a little bit different. But they're the exact same thing otherwise.
I love sour candy. I'm a fan of that.
I don't necessarily like nor dislike them. I could probably live without it.
I mean, if someone offered you some Sour Patch Kids,
I would
take them.
I would not say no. Absolutely.
Do you watch The Walking Dead?
I did. That was one of the shows when it first kind of came out. I started watching it. I think I got through a couple seasons, maybe 2.5 seasons. And for whatever reason, I just stopped watching it after that.
Just kind of faded.
Yeah, I lost interest.
Off?
Yeah.
Well, get this. HBO actually passed on The Walking Dead at first. They thought it was too violent.
Is that right?
Yeah. So then I went over to AMC, which they're like, oh, we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. And they did all right with it. Chameleons. They don't change colors so they can blend into the surroundings and hide from predators. No. They change colors based on their moods to send signals to other chameleons.
Oh. So if you're like, I'm angry,
then you would think it was like a bright red.
they're like a mood ring, if you think about it.
Right. Chameleons are nature's mood rings. You're right. It's a new slogan.
Mm-hmm. And finally, actors Lin-Man Ward and Cindy Pickett, they played Ferris Bueller's parents in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They actually met on the set there, ended up getting married for real.
Aww.
Yeah.
Sweet love.
However, they did get divorced 6 years later.
Oh, no.
After they played married parents in the 1992 movie Sleepwalkers.
So movies brought them together and movies busted it all up.
It's time to put some good in your morning. The good news brought to you by Almar Home Improvements. 519-351-5666.
So 2 stories for the price of 1 here this morning. You don't have to forget about apples. They're still very good for you, but a beer a day can keep the doctor away, apparently. So I'm listening.
You must love this story.
Yeah.
The study, which was just published in a Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry, researchers had healthy men drink around 12 ounces of alcoholic or non-alcoholic beer every day for 4 weeks. And they found that compared to the beginning of the study, the men who had a beer a day had a more diverse set of gut microbes, which actually can reduce the risk for some diseases and is a good marker of overall intestinal health.
That's a line I use a lot. I have a diverse set of gut microbes.
Well, if you think about it, beer, right? It's a fermentation process. Mm-hmm. So, and drinking or eating, fermented foods is good for you. So,
even more good news, research also says that a single daily beer did not appear to increase body weight or body fat mass. But I guess just one. Don't overdo it.
Just one, and they still say that, non-alcoholic beer could be a more healthful choice.
I guess. You want to ruin it if you want to be a Debbie Downer about it.
You know what? There are at least some better options now when it comes to non-alcoholic beer options out there.
Is there? Okay.
Well, I know Heineken has like a 0% non-alcoholic beer now for people that want the flavor but maybe don't want the booze.
Silly. Also, another story in North Carolina, a man bought himself a $20 scratch-off lottery ticket for Father's Day. Thought, you know what, I'm going to treat myself a little bit. Well, that was a wonderful decision for this man because he ended up winning $2 million.
$2 million. His name is John, and he said, when I was buying the tickets, I said, this is my Father's Day gift to myself. Well, now it's going to be a Father's Day he'll never forget.
Absolutely.
So he was stunned when he scratched off the mega cash ticket to reveal the $2 million top prize. He said he was kind of delirious. Hasn't really hit him yet.
Says his plans for his winnings, the $2 million, include paying some bills, sure, donating to his church, which is wonderful, helping family members, and taking his wife on a special vacation. My wife told me, you don't have pocket change. You've got money now. I've always told her I'm going to take her to Hawaii, and now I can.
Oh, that's awesome.
Probably several times over to Hawaii. So just a hunch, a treat yourself moment on Father's Day, and it landed him $2 million. Couple of good news stories.
What's happening right now?
What's happening?
One day it'll cool down. One day.
Today is not the day, though.
No. Heat warning, day 3, and it might be the grossest of the bunch. We'll see. Already 25 Celsius. Feeling like 30 Celsius right now. So yesterday when I left the building, it was about, 11:30. And I went home, and it was like, it's not that bad right now.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I took the dog for a walk. I mean, it was hot out there, but yeah. Then I played slow pitch last night, and that was extra gross.
I was going to say, fast forward to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then, here it is. There's the gross stuff.
I was really trying to pitch my teammates on, how, like, when your kids play sports, a lot of times they get popsicles. I was like, why don't we get popsicles? Someone go get us popsicles. I'll call my mom.
What's your favorite popsicle flavor? If you had to pick one.
Are we talking like Freezies? Or are we talking...
What is it? It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I have these like lemon Italian ice pops right now that are really good.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Well, they're not super expensive, but I can tell you right now, you know what would not have been refreshing? A ketchup popsicle.
But how do you know they're not refreshing? You haven't had one. But they are a real thing. French's is to release a limited edition ketchup popsicle in this country. And if you thought it was gross to have craft dinner soft serve at the Stampede in Calgary earlier this year, this might be topping it. We'll see.
Yeah, they're calling it the Frenchsicle. Made with 100% Canadian tomatoes, which is fantastic news, but I don't know how I feel about this.
So French's and its popsicle partner, their Happy Pops, they say Canadians love their ketchup, and that's why ketchup popsicles are now a thing. Manager said, this year we're bringing the fun back to summer with the Frenchsicle. And it's made from tomatoes. He's excited to celebrate local food and flavor from the roots of the Frenchsicle made with 100% Canadian tomatoes to our Happy Pops partnership. And they're giving away free samples in Leamington in a couple of days.
Yep. So on Friday, they're going to be in Leamington at 12 West Park Lane from 11:30 to 2:30, handing out free Frenchsicles, the ketchup popsicles. So you can go give you're in Leamington on Friday. Go grab one. Tell us what it's like.
Or it's a short drive. I think that's going to be a pretty popular thing. That's going to be crowded.
I think a lot of people are going to want to try it. Right?
I'm curious. I don't think it'd be as bad as it might initially sound.
Makes sense, though. I mean, Leamington is the tomato capital of Canada and also the home of the French's plant.
So it was 33, 34 at supper time last night. So we thought, you know what? Let's fire up the barbecue. Let's get it even hotter outside. So we had a nice barbecue last night.
So you're the reason why we're in global warming, right?
I'm contributing to it. Absolutely. But it's been a long conundrum where you would have a package of hot dogs and a package of hot dog buns, and they don't line up in terms of the numbers.
Yeah, because the hot dogs come in, packs of 10?
Yeah.
And then the hot dog buns come in packs of 8?
I believe so. Yeah, that's generally how it is.
But apparently, 2 companies have banded together to end the mismatch.
See, they created this problem so they could come in and be a savior. Heinz Hot Dog Pact. It's brokered as that, the Heinz Hot Dog Pact. The deal will see bread maker Wonder sell packs of 10 buns at some grocery stores in Ontario, which will match up nicely with the Heinz hot dogs, the 10 packs we normally see in stores, like you mentioned.
So, but Heinz doesn't make hot dogs. They make ketchup.
Yeah.
So they're trying to bring 2 other companies together.
Right. So the buns will be available starting tomorrow, apparently, following a year-long online petition, because everything gets done when you have a petition online that had more than 34,000 signatures. Kraft Heinz says it felt it was, quote, our duty as the world's most iconic ketchup to rally our passionate fans and champion change for the age-old issue of unequal buns and hot dog packs. Wonder Brand says it's a chance to finally give hot dog fans what they've longed for. Well, what took you so long?
You know what? I think they should make a hot dog bun that you can put 2 hot dogs on. You get a double patty with the hamburger. Why can't you do a double hot dog?
Oh, I think we're onto something. I think we're onto something. We've now created the double hot dog. All right, patent that. All right, so what we do in our business, it isn't necessarily physically demanding. We sit a lot, And that could be bad for our health. So we're going to have to get some kind of walking around the halls or outside going.
Well, some new research, this study involved more than 100,000 people from 21 different countries, found that the risk of death and major cardiovascular disease increased by 20% if you sat for more than 8 hours a day. So bad news for all the office workers out there. Now, however, you could kind of counteract the harmful effects if you just meet the World Health Organization's recommendation for physical activity, which is being active for at least 60 minutes a day. It brought down the risk significantly.
Okay. So find some way to get up, move around.
And it doesn't have to be vigorous. They're saying walking, right, would work.
Just do laps around your office. Because you don't want to go outside today.
Well, I know people that have Apple Watches. Doesn't it tell you to stand up every 15 minutes or something?
Does it? That's cool. I've never had that.
But if you're in the middle of a project, you're like, I can't stand. I don't have time right now. Leave me alone.
So if you're at the office and you sit a lot over the 8-hour day, just maybe make a note. Get up, walk around. It's going to certainly do better for your health over time.
And now it's time for...
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's random.
Is that a fact?
Is that a fact?
4 random facts.
Well, you've got a few days, but did you know 55% of corporate downsizings... Let's just speak for firings.
Yeah.
55% happen on Tuesdays, which is a weird day to do it.
Well, you don't want to, someone comes into work on Monday. You don't want to, Monday's already bad enough.
But if you're firing them, it doesn't matter if you feel that, it's going to ruin their Monday. It's going to ruin whatever day it is.
Well, maybe they have a final meeting on Monday to be like, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're going to fire them.
Maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
Tuesday. Such a random day, though. Over half.
Yeah. So how do you sleep? Do you sleep on your side, Mike, or your back?
Generally, my left side is where I'm most comfortable.
Do you ever sleep on your stomach, or not really?
I rotate sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
You end up in weird positions in the middle
I'll be
of
a
the
hot
night.
dog on a spigot. I'll just go all around there.
Well, apparently sleeping on your stomach can actually induce weird, scarier, and sexier dreams.
Note to self, sleep on your stomach.
You'll get the weird, scary dreams, not the sexier ones.
I was going to say, not when I get up at 4 a.m. That could really disrupt things. Nothing's worth a rotten sleep. The front of a giraffe's tongue, in case you were wondering, it's dark purple. That's to protect it from sunburn while eating.
Well, giraffes, they spend a lot of time eating, don't they?
Right.
Isn't
So
that most of their day?
Sun's beating down. I've never heard of a sunburnt tongue, but that's why the front of a giraffe's tongue is dark purple.
Well, you don't eat outside all day long, Mike, so you don't know.
Says who?
Maybe your tongue would turn purple if you started doing that.
I'm not about to find out anytime soon.
And finally, did you know that every year there's about 60,000 trampoline injuries in the U.S.?
That's about right. I can see that. Those things can be dangerous.
Yeah. Dustpan's also dangerous. There's about 150 injuries involving them every year.
A dustpan?
A dustpan.
That seems like my life.
Today's
1, 2,
4
So random.
random.
Give the public the facts.
4 random facts.
New Netflix show has come out. I guess Netflix, they want to kind of turn things around a little bit. I guess a lot of people are giving up their subscriptions recently.
Well, a lot of people subscribed during the pandemic, and, now that they're busy again, they're canceling it. So they're coming out with new shows to try to entice you back in. But I'm not quite sure about this new one called Snowflake Mountain.
It has nothing to do with snow either.
No, it's a show that puts spoiled Gen Zers or Zers or however you want to say it
Zetters.
into the wilderness. And to be clear, Netflix defines the term snowflake as someone who is overly emotional, easily offended, and dramatic. So 10, 20-something kidults, they call them.
So by age, they're adults, but they don't really act like it.
No, because they refuse to get up, get a job. They're still living at home, living off their parents.
Yeah.
They are sending them off into the wilderness to compete for $50,000 while learning survival skills, which is good. Except that these kids/adults didn't sign up for this.
No, they thought they were going to a luxury resort for a party. That's what they were told. They were tricked by their parents in hopes of pushing them to grow up. But I think that might be a backfiring move, the tricking.
Do you want your children to hate you? Because I think that's what might happen. But it sounds like the show did accomplish what it was made for, because at least one of the contestants said, quote, "It humbled me for a fact. It made me feel more prepared for any situation. You could stick me in the wilderness right now and I've got you."
It might be worth a look. We'll see. Snowflake Mountain. Not exactly sure when it's starting up, but it's in the works from Netflix.
I'm in my 30s, and I don't want to be out in the wilderness. I want a bed. But I mean, I've done the camping thing. I've gone out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Give me a warm, soft bed and blankets.
Is $50,000 not really that big of a prize to me anymore? Like, you have a lot of shows with the grand prize of a lot more than that.
I feel like it should be six figures, but
No.
that's just me.
KFC, I don't think this is happening on this side of the border. Big surprise. Nothing happens.
No.
As opposed to down in the U.S., but KFC down south just invented a new utensil if you want to shovel food in your face even more quickly, but more fun. It's the finger spork from KFC.
So it's a spork that goes on your fingertips.
So a spoon fork, but it goes on your fingertips. So if you put 5 of them on, you'll be like Edward Scissorhands, but not nearly as dangerous.
Edward Sporker Hands?
That's the sequel to the late 80s movie. So they just announced them in an infomercial on YouTube. Of course, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke infomercial on YouTube. So it's a novelty thing, not really terribly serious. They actually look harder to use than normal silverware. And to get one, you've got to order something special on the menu, their Sides Lovers Meal. Each order comes with 2 of them. And you only have about 2 or 3 weeks. They're going to stop this about mid-July. And again, it looks like it only happens south of the border at KFC, the finger spork.
It could come in handy, I guess, to hold the chicken without getting the grease on your fingers.
I'd try it. I would try it.
How did you know?
I know, it was amazing.
I just happen to know, that's all.
No, yes, I don't know.
You know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you go,
Well, this makes you go something anyway. A sport that's very popular and rocketing in popularity over the last, I'd say, even 5 years is pickleball. I don't quite know the ins and outs of the sport of pickleball, but I know it's a tennis offshoot, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like tennis. It's a smaller court. I've never actually played it. My mom was into it for a little bit. But it's very popular with seniors because it's, as you said, it's a racket sport similar to tennis, but I don't think you have to run quite as much, so that, it's easier on your joints.
Which makes this maybe a little bit more disturbing, the fact that it's popular with the older demographics. Pickleball is rocketing in popularity, but so is nude pickleball.
Yep, clothing optional.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think I feel a little bit... I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Well,
really.
A lot of clothing optional resorts have been adding pickleball courts and even holding tournaments. There's one down in Florida called Cypress Cove with more than 170 due-paying members who are out there in the buff playing pickleball 7 days a week.
This particular resort down in Florida, they're arranging home and away pickleball matches with other Florida nudist resorts and getting ready even for a community's 4th of July pickleball tournament, which is called the Clothing Independence Day Tournament. Clothing Independence Day Tournament.
Oh, that is nice. I like that.
People who play pickleball sans clothing say that it's much more comfortable than playing while clothed. There's no sweaty, clinging clothing to deal with, and it's easier to cool down after playing a few games. You must be very, very close to people to want to do this.
You just have to make sure you reapply all your sunblock.
Please do that, yes. There's also other activities going on down this resort as well, like nude. They call it cornhole in the U.S., but it's beanbag toss up here. Yeah, I don't even know if that's any better, but it's quite something. The Pickler.com, it's a website. They've got an interesting article on that, just to disturb you a little bit for your Friday morning. But it's gaining popularity here in Chatham-Kent. The clothed pickleball.
Yes.
Because we've got funding to build courts, right?
Yeah, Chatham-Kent received $430,000 from the Ontario Trillium Foundation, and they're going to build 10 courts throughout the community, which is fantastic news. Some in Chatham, some in Wallaceburg, some in Dresden, it sounds like.
And I will make the signs now. Please, please wear clothing.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.